Forest podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.
Oh my God, as I live and breathe.
Boy, it's been years since I've said this. Skoo Walker.
Somebody open the door.
Bing bong.
He just came out. He just came down from the lantern.
What up?
Skoo.
I got a prop for you, Skoo.
Yeah. There you go.
Skoo.
I was disappointed you don't call the scrimmages. I went to the scrimmage on Saturday and you weren't. I didn't hear your voice.
Talent.
Check that.
Game time.
Check that. Orange slushies. What are the specials this year, Skoo?
I can't tell you.
He's too busy announcing. He can't.
You'll know when I know.
Is Urso going to be there again with his bratwurst? Or
Joe, I'm just the talent. I don't know what the behind the scenes are. I find out when I get there.
Did they bring something up to you while you're calling the game?
Usually do. Hopefully it continues, but you never know.
Continues. Hold on, everybody. We got the Skoo Walker, the original co-host of the Lake Forest podcast. Dakota Insurance.
For all your insurance.
Wait, I forgot how it went. Why Dakota Insurance? Is it?
Why Dakota Insurance?
Yeah.
That was our first dog, Dakota.
We okay. No, but you're like a friend.
And
Dakota
people
Insurance.
dig us.
Dig us, yeah. Okay. Skoo, 30 years calling the games. Is that right this year? Is that true?
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so? You
It's
sound
a little bit
hungry.
more than 30 years. I was there, I was a utility guy forever.
I called in my high school. They did something where
Joe, is this about you or me?
Well, I'm just asking you. I called 2 games when I was a senior in high school, 2 football games. That was the hardest thing I ever did because I had to stay on my seat, watch every play. Because usually when you're at a football game, you're hanging out with your friends, you're kind of in and out. And I had to learn all the opposing players' names for the opposing team and all this stuff.
Skoo, do you have to do that?
What's
you got
that?
to
Do you have to memorize team names, player names?
Yeah, I get the roster and I take a look at it and try to do the best I can. And of course, I have help from fans and all that, but.
You said my kid's name wrong.
That's the, do they still have the drunk mom club there?
I don't know about drunk mom, but.
All right, never mind. That's a no
I have
comment.
help. You know,
So,
been a
Skoo,
long-
you went to Lake Forest High School.
I
Okay,
did.
you're a lifer. You've seen it all. The Caucus. You've been on boards. Give us a little rundown for the, because everybody's moving into Lake Forest now, so half the population is new. Explain what you're all about, Skoo Walker.
You want me to start when I was on a board?
Yeah, go ahead.
We had to
Just
drink
start with
that,
it.
right?
You look. You grew up in Lake Forest.
I
Okay,
did.
you know all the gas stations. You know all the auto
Two of them.
And the ex gas stations and the ex car dealers, and it's not the same Lake Forest as
Oh,
your
no.
parents.
It's not your old man's Lake Forest. Your old man was a copper, right?
Oh, you did the background check.
Oh, yeah. 3 years ago.
My dad was a cop in Lake Forest for about 14 years, and then went up to Lake County and started the investigative unit up there, and was there for like forever, 30 some years. And so family of law enforcement. Mom was a bartender after she was a stay-at-home mom, and Lake Forest High School.
She did the best she could.
University.
Where did she bartend?
Joe, yeah, bars that probably don't exist anymore.
Okay.
She was a school board member, though. No, I'm kidding. Weren't you a school board member, Joe? Are you running this year?
This year, no.
Why not?
It's no school. I will never run for school board again.
Why not? They need you here.
8 years was enough. Nope.
Joe.
And how was it 8 years ago?
It was 30 years.
30 years ago.
years ago.
30 years ago, man.
When I was on the school board when you were calling, when you started calling football in '94.
Nice, nice. I don't think I started calling it. Well, I might have. I was a utility guy.
You were a utility guy.
I was asked whatever you do. I subbed in. Eventually, I became full-time, but yeah.
So you call what? Football, basketball, what other sports?
Football, basketball, lacrosse, field hockey. What else?
I thought you had soccer.
Did some softball back in the day. Yeah, wherever there was needed.
You played baseball, right? When you were in high school?
I played baseball and basketball, but wasn't good enough.
What?
Yeah, I was good enough, but I was tiny in high school. I had all the skills.
For Lake Forest, you're huge.
As people have asked me this question.
I was 5'5" my senior year.
Has Lake Forest High School ever produced a professional athlete like MLB, NHL, NBA?
I believe there's a football player, last name might have been Dubonnet or something like that. Yeah, there's been a couple
Okay.
pro athletes.
We got
not many, but
well, number 99 Notre Dame. He's coming up. He'll be
we'll see.
He'll be a good one. Skoo, 30 years. Okay,
Yeah.
how'd you get into it, man? You were a rec rat, right?
Jeez, yes, I was a rec rat. I was an original rec rat.
Yeah.
And not too many people know what a rec rat is, but I will tell you. So a rec rat was when the recreation department was where, Pete? Not where it is today.
Is that where the fancy wine and cheese place is? No.
Above the Fields building?
No, well, above the Fields building? No. Next door to it, behind it.
Oh, okay.
And we used to go there at 9 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning and sit outside until it opened up. Go in there, play hoops, pool, shoot pool, go to Pasquazzi's for hot dogs at lunch. Hear their dinner bell, go home at around 5, stop off at Little Red Hen for a 3-piece chicken. That was my friends.
Where was the White Hen?
Little Red Hen was
Red Hen.
right where Ohm, no, not Ohm. What is a yoga spot?
Oh, okay, on Western there?
Yeah.
Next to Ferentino's or past Ferentino's. Before
right
fan.
next to the bank,
Yeah.
white building.
Yeah.
Pete and I are up on our
Little
yoga.
Red Hen still exists in Winnetka or Glencoe, but nothing like it was then.
So, Skoo, you've been announcing 30 years. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be fireworks and trophies and plaques and
Right.
a commemorative orange
I hope
slushie
not.
cup, for you. So, I just want to say, hey, congratulations, way to go,
Appreciate it.
Trace Anyos. That's
No, you don't. It doesn't. It goes by quick. It's fun. I originally started it. I was actually going to a game, and a kid I used to coach was doing the Lake Forest cable broadcast way back when. I think it was like in 88, 89. And he just said, "Hey, you want to sit and help me do this?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" So I did that for a little bit. It was fun. Had a lot of chuckles, and then just, high school asked if I wanted to do. I did sideline stuff with the chains. Sat in the booth and did scorebooks and everything. It's great. Got in free to watch the games.
Tell me about, do you like sharing the microphone with people that come in the booth?
What do you mean by that? Sharing the microphone?
Well,
no, I don't like sharing the microphone.
No, the germs. It's the germs,
Yeah, no, there's a lot of disease out there.
Yeah. So it's that spongy thing. You just,
I don't even have that. I heard we're getting a new system though. That'll be hopefully they'll have it in place this year, but
Dr. Montgomery said you got a new scoreboard coming in, 300 large.
I heard that too. Yeah, it's run its useful life. I mean, last year we had problems with it, but yeah, if we're getting a new one, that's
I didn't look Saturday to see if it was the new or the old scoreboard.
Nah, it's not up there yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you'd notice that thing. There's
Is it gonna be like Diamond Vision, like at the professional sports games?
I don't know. I mean, I heard someone donate a ton of dough, so it's got to be a pretty nice one.
Anonymous.
That's a good person.
You're welcome.
I think they live on Lake Road.
On Bransby?
Lake Street.
So come on, what else you got for me?
Well, Skoo, I mean, this show's turned into a political thing.
You think?
You
guys forgot what Lake Forest is.
Well,
a city that has an election every year would tend to be political.
Well, it's like going to the bar, Skoo, just going upstairs. Well, you're not there now, but this is what people are talking about, unfortunately. We have Montgomery Parents Care. There's some fireworks about Parents Care. I don't know if you caught any of that stuff.
Of course I did. Of course I caught it.
We have the school board stuff. We have boards in general. We have the contested elections. What have you heard that we got wrong? That this is your forum that you can say, Pete, you're full of crap.
Well, where do you want me to start?
At one.
No, I'm not gonna.
All right. How about the caucus bylaws? You got thoughts on the caucus bylaws?
What thoughts do you want me to give you?
That they got to be changed, and if so, what needs to be changed in them?
I would like to see what needs to be changed and why they need to be changed.
An outcome of an election if it doesn't go the right way.
Well, what does that have to do with the bylaws?
It's not in the bylaws. Well, I'm dead serious. This happened in this whole rigmarole that, we voted down the officers. Now what? What are you supposed to do? It doesn't say. That's my point. You think it should stay?
Well, it's a meet and greet the candidates. It's not a vote, which is, I don't know where people have lost that concept that you're voting people in, because the caucus, last I checked, the only elected people in the caucus are 9 people in each ward, and they're supposed to be doing the work on behalf of their constituents. So where the public comes in to vote on stuff is, I don't understand. There should be no voting. That's what the members do.
Well, I'm under the impression they did that so more people would show up at the annual meeting, and it kind of backfired on them.
Well, I mean, the annual meeting has always been, it's not a, a festival to come out and, it's a choice. If you want to go there, you go there. It's not, never has ever been contingent on, who the caucus internally picks. Let me ask you this thing. What other nonprofits vote on their board members and all that in the public?
I have no idea. I only know Lake Forest. Well, you were a ward chairman. You were a ward chairman, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So in the old days, you'd show your hand, right? So when did it switch? You're Mr. Lake Forest. Why did it switch?
That's a good question. I mean, when I was caucus chair, there was never subcommittees within the caucus to interview people for positions. If there was a Ward 3 opening, the Ward 3 group would get together, go through their VPSs, find somebody that could fill the position, interview for it. Within the ward, the interview would happen, and then they would get pushed up to the full caucus for approval. Now there's subcommittees and subcommittees, and no one, what's the purpose of the 4 wards if they're not filling spots in their ward? Every position should be ward represented. That's why they have those number of seats on all the commissions. But now it's not. But when I was there, that's how it was.
You think that's the nature of people just don't want to volunteer like they used to?
No. I mean, there's plenty of volunteers out there. You got, the role of the caucus in each ward is to go into your ward if you have a opening, to go through the ward and find somebody and interview them. Period. Not say I'm on the caucus and you're not interviewing people in your ward. Or throw your hands up and say, I can't find anybody. It's so hard. Well, that's the idea. It is hard. It's not easy to find people to volunteer.
It's hard when you don't have choices. When you're stuck with, well, I only have 3 people to choose from versus 30, you run into these issues.
But Pete, that's not true though. I mean, there's thousands of VPSs in their system of people that have filled out and,
volunteer profile sheet or an application for the caucus.
Right. Why aren't they using those? There's plenty of people that you call them up and ask them. You did this, you interviewed before, or you filled out this VPS, we got a position, come on in and interview.
Well, how was the interview process?
It's a push out to the community. Hey, we're looking for somebody. Reply to us. Well,
to rehash old history, Skoo, I mean, you tried to apply and you didn't run into a very good process, did you?
I applied a couple times for positions, and no, it was, the interview process was a little interesting, but
what does interesting mean?
What does interesting mean? Being interviewed by a committee of people that aren't in your ward, or doing it on Zoom instead of in person.
No, is that because of the pandemic, or is that just convenience?
There's just, there's nothing. I support the caucus fully. It's just, there's stuff that can be changed, and I just think they give too much credence to the people that holler.
Like, we need people with more financial experience. We need more people with.
You don't need any. You know what? The caucus and the boards require no background. It's your opportunity to volunteer and help out in the community, and you learn about the board and commissions that you're on, or you get appointed to, by learning, reading, doing the work. You don't have to have a background. That's the other thing. It's like, what background do you need?
The willingness to do it.
You were on the park board, right?
I was.
Do you think, though, that they put you on because, hey, Skoo is involved with Lake Forest athletics, that's kind of related to parks and rec?
No, they put me on because of my past, my history, and my love of the community and what I can add value to. in their thing, and I was on the rec board, and I added tremendous value to what their mission was. I walk off that board knowing I did some great work. And especially when you're asked to work on subcommissions and all that within the board, that's when you know your value is there and you've added value. Not because I have some title. I mean, it could be anybody.
Were you on when the process started to get the turf fields, or did that come after you?
No, my main thing was when I was on there was a Deerpath golf course renovations. And talk about ugly. That was really ugly. And that was one of the first public-private fundings of work being done. And it turned out where you had a lot of people negative against it, turned out to be a very spectacular effort. And now that's one of the nicest courses in the community, or not community, in the Lake North Shore.
What's up with these people that always take the other angle of things?
No, Pete, you're just going. You're just getting that
What?
needle. You want to get me all agitated.
What are
on
you
the
talking
special
about?
day.
I mean, you had the golf course, you had the beach, you got the Deerpath Park, and we had all this rain in the spring, and it saved so many canceled games. I mean, you have people that are against it that show up for the ribbon cutting. I mean, what has that always been like that in Lake Forest?
You always get people that are opposed to what the city wants to do, and at the end of the day, when it works out, yeah, everyone wants to be for it, but they got work to do on that park. That's not just because it was built that it's done. They need to generate revenue on it, and I think that's going to be their biggest challenge. That's been their biggest challenge before they even built it.
There's the only thing that I think that people haven't been against is the shopping cart corral at Jewel.
Well,
that's going to be his
I
tombstone.
can't believe, Pete, first off, with the shopping carts, that you took full credit for that.
If I could take 110% credit, I would.
I know you would. That's the funny thing.
What?
He's about bringing people together, Skoo.
Well, hold on, Skoo. What did I get wrong?
Huh?
Should I give you a slice of the pie of that?
No, I'm not. You can take whatever credit you want, but let's go replay the videos of when we were.
Oh, that is true.
About
all right.
The Progressive Insurance commercial.
Skoo?
No Progressive Insurance commercials.
Sorry, man.
I take it back.
Dakota Insurance.
Skoo would get so pissed and agitated because people wouldn't walk up their cart to the front. And I said, why should people walk up the cart when there should be a corral right there? So you are correct. Skoo, here's your 5%. You are.
I'm not looking for credit. I just,
you got it. You're right. You're right.
You did all the work.
Well, hold on, Skoo. It's been like I don't know how many years.
It's a lot of work for Pete to walk into that Jewel, find the manager at the service desk, and have a conversation with her. That took a good half hour of his time.
Well, no, the time it took. This is where things get screwed up. You had the.
Is that a little beret you're wearing? Is that a lake or a baseball? Oh, look at that!
You like that?
Cheerio, chap.
Thank you. Pip pip. So
I just got a Scouts hat.
So you go to Jewel and you say, hey, why aren't there shopping corrals? And they say, well, because the city doesn't want us to have them. So you go to the city and they say, well, I have no idea what they're talking about. You put the two together and you're like, shopping cart corrals. What a great idea. Boom.
Yeah, and those are used quite a bit, I must add, as I do my surf weaving through the carts that are still in the sidewalks.
Oh, bull crap. They're always full. They got to get those people to empty them out. That's a whole nother issue. So
they're going to bury Pete's body. When Pete passes, they're going to bury him underneath the cart corral there.
The carts are in the corral and people go in Jewel and complain there's no carts.
It's Jules.
Well, when you park next to the corral, make sure you grab a cart.
I've never seen that. Have you seen any other grocery store that doesn't have a corral? That was my beef.
You want me to take that cart and push it into the store?
So, Skoo, ever since you left, we've gotten so political on here. Is that true?
I know.
What have you?
Well, when I was on the school board.
Yeah. I think that's directed at you, Joe Weiss.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
But I could just see Skoo driving down the road, just pounding the dashboard when he's listening to the show.
No, I think I do it. I'm not in the car when I listen to your show. It's more early morning, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't want
You've
to.
had some winners on there, Pete.
Well, we've this is a group effort, to quote Clinton. It
Joe,
takes a
yes,
village.
Joe, Pete, you've had some winners on there.
Well, we try to get both sides, and
Okay.
I have my opinion, and I know there's another side that is wrong, but I still let them speak anyways.
When are you having the Round Lake Alderman on?
What is that a dig for?
Yeah.
Highland Park. We just had a guy from Highland Park on because we fight so hard not to let Lake Forest go astray so we don't turn into Highland Park.
Hey, let's Lake Forest is not going to go astray into Highland Park. Not ever.
You think Highland Park said, "Hey, we're not going to turn into Skokie or whatever"? Highland Park was a caucus nonpartisan.
People's Republic of Highland Park.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't compare the two, but Lake Forest is never going to turn into Highland Park.
It's definitely a more moderate town, but
Never.
it's a moderate town, but people have to get off their butts and vote. And it looks like they vote on the important things once it's become important enough where people start clamoring and yelling to, that there's an issue.
But this has been going on for eons in Lake Forest about the caucus and, it's not doing its right job and all that. But at the end of the day, they do. Look at the city. City's fine. It's a little expensive, but it's fine.
Oh, like you're not going to say like the school budget, are you? You're not going to talk about the school, are you?
I don't even know what the school budget is. Nor do I really care.
106 million? Well, can we get some of that? Can I get some of that back, sir?
I mean, okay, so the school did a referendum. They're fixing the school, doing a bunch of stuff. Hey, so be it.
If there's a surplus, just wet your beak, right, Skoo? 30 years, just saying.
It is what it is.
Turn in your timesheet, sir.
Still a great community school system. Everyone's got their warts.
Okay, of course. That's what
Right?
This podcast is one big wart, Skoo.
Yeah.
So what's going on anonymously out there? Because everybody has an opinion, yet nobody will come on and stand behind it. What have we gotten wrong out there that we can correct?
Well, I don't take notes on this stuff, so I don't know. Like, this is not
disappointed.
I'm not sitting on the podcast going, okay, let's see, check that box.
Okay, the latest one. Parents Care and Montgomery. You have two sides.
He ain't touching that.
I think my opinion on Parents Care.
What is it?
Have to rehash that.
Well, we haven't been on the show for like years, so what is your opinion could have changed?
Our viewership has gone up since then, so we've got a lot of different viewers.
You seem to count when someone logs off and logs back on as separate viewers.
Whatever YouTube clicks.
Right.
I count the number of people that come up to me at Jewel.
Plural, Jules.
The Jewels.
Why haven't you got what's the ED for Parents Care on?
The who?
The executive director of Parents Care. Why don't you get him on?
Oh God. I'm
gonna do a Joe right now.
Look.
What?
Hold on. Where's my pills? Where's my pills? Well, what is your opinion of Parents Care? We'll move on. Is there any is it worth anything? Like, do parents really care about Parents Care?
No, I don't understand the mission, but I don't think I think it's
it's a gotcha group.
Yeah.
Okay. That was my opinion, and it's so
they do what they want to do, but I would like to see the head of it speaking.
I don't know.
I mean,
I wouldn't. I've read his Twitter
when you talk to, let's put it this way, Pete, when you talk to some nonprofits, or when we've had nonprofits on, you're usually talking to the executive director, the day-to-day operational person, to find out what their nonprofit is and what it's about, what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. Not the board members. Right? So if they have ED, who's the day-to-day operator, why doesn't he come on? I'd like to see his opinions and hear them.
Go to Twitter.
Just open up your phone and pull up Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. You can see his opinions every 30 seconds.
All right,
Why doesn't he come on? I mean, his board guy should give him the okay to do it, right?
Well, this last visit, he's had some issues, but he could have come on before. I understand.
Still can come on.
It's okay. So that's
Anyway.
that's parents care. Going down.
They do care.
What about the LFQR42Q.com, the transparency group that's not transparent? Do you got any thoughts on those people?
Next.
Good
I just don't okay. They have their opinions on stuff, but
is it that do you think they represent that fringe of people that when you try to get progress in town, they're the ones that, the door's about to they just stick their foot in the door, and you can't close the deal, move on to something else.
Why aren't these people getting involved in the caucus where they can make a difference?
Like Turkla. Well, his dad was in the caucus.
Haven't some of the others though? I mean, you have,
everyone in that group can put their names forward to be on a board or commission or serve as a ward person.
Or an alderman. Like, what's her face?
Well, not an
1 year
alderman,
and done. She didn't have enough time to be an alderman, but she's got enough time to start this L42QB.com. Just saying. Karis.
Questions abound.
A lot of FOIAs on the Karis side.
I think it gets back to the whole one of the pillars of the caucus is not being non-agenda driven. And when you don't abide by those, of course, people, always everyone has an agenda. But is it an agenda that's going to impact your role on a board or commission? If so, then you don't get to volunteer.
So those guys, if Parents Care is a gotcha group, what are these people?
Who's that?
LF4T. Let's get the
LF
initials right. I told you don't use that Q thing because it's implying something else.
Yeah.
Quizzical. So
I mean, again.
But I mean, we used to call it the green meanies, or anytime anybody that's fighting progress, it seems to be in that group. And I'm trying to figure out what is the agenda for that.
Well, nothing. It's the next thing to go against, and it's shocking that you give them that much volume to
We're sitting in the bar chatting. And this is coming up. We're having a beer.
I know.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Cheers.
And people are talking about it. I just want to, people want to know what it is.
People aren't talking about it. That's the good thing. Nobody gives a crap.
Well, especially after that 73.5% yes vote, that really.
No, I mean that's yeah.
They were getting all pumped up that they had won the previous vote.
That should never have happened. Anyway.
Okay.
That's the caucus's role, is to do that, not to pawn it off to the public. The public vote is when they're electing their ward people. But
you got an
that's
opinion
stuff that gets changed.
You got an opinion on O'Reilly or anything? The new president? O'Reilly. Joe O'Reilly. Not O'Reilly. O'Reilly.
It's a good guy.
Okay. Well, it's getting into their busy season, all the interviewing coming.
You got a lot of stuff going on. Joe, why aren't you putting your name forward for anything?
Yeah,
you're
Joe.
in the third ward.
What happens in the caucus stays in the caucus, right? So.
No, why aren't you volunteering, Joe?
Yeah,
why
Joe.
Are you raising your hand?
Yeah, Joe. Okay.
Let the process. I'm not running for school board. Let's just put that.
VPS. Well, as you know,
VPS, Joe, you would be good. Why don't you interview for something?
Well,
come on.
I got 1 year left. You think they'll put me back on, Skoo? I feel like one of those ball players. I got 1 year eligibility left.
Oh, you're what, Ward 1? Are there
Yeah.
openings?
The
I
only
did notice there's a lot of
the only
openings in the
seat
ward.
up this time, I mean, in terms of a vacancy,
There shouldn't be any vacancies. That's against the bylaws to have a vacancy.
I mean, I'm talking about the aldermanic seats.
Oh, yeah.
Ara's aldermanic seat in the third ward, because everybody else is, I assume, running again, right? That's up for re-election, or is it just?
I would guess so, yeah.
See, this is what happens when you have an election every single year in this city. There's a constant spin about who's running for alderman, who's running for this.
Well, Joe, again, they're not running. I mean, every year they're re-upping, and it's a difference between running and re-upping.
True, but somebody could, in theory, file against them. The concern I think a lot of people had was,
how many people have filed against caucus supported candidates in the last 20 years?
well, but you had one that spent almost $250,000 doing it, and so everybody thought maybe this was part of a movement for them to.
Yeah, but who cares how much she spent? She didn't win.
She didn't win, but the caucus had to go out and raise almost the same amount of money. But you're right. I mean, at the end of the
They
day,
didn't have to.
you can't buy Lake Forest. You're right.
You don't have to.
That said, I think, look, number one reason Randy won is because.
Let me ask you a question, Joe. When was the last challenged run against a caucus supported candidate?
Besides Prue?
Did she win? I said,
back, wasn't it like 20 years ago? What was it?
Well, Ara got challenged, right?
He got challenged by Joanne.
He had a higher, Philippe.
Like 20 years ago, somebody won, didn't they? The guy who,
the Heritage Group.
Yeah, the Heritage. That's what I was going to say Horizon, but Heritage.
And Mike Burns won. He was a good alderman, and the world didn't come to an end like people thought it would. So I mean,
because the movement died, but other places
the movement didn't die. The Heritage, check back in your notes there, Joe. The Heritage unit had a full slate of candidates,
right, running.
Not just
not
just a one person going,
Right, but what if when Prue had run, she had also gotten however many aldermanic seats were up, people to run, and said, "I'll back you too, and we'll run as a slate." And then next year, when there were those seats up, nobody ran against the caucus candidates last time. But what if Prue had won, and people she had supported won, and then she runs people?
What do you mean, people she supported?
I'm just saying, what if she had, instead of running on her own as she did,
right,
what if she had run with a slate?
What about?
Would she have won?
Well, you don't run against a slate. You run individually against the position.
Yeah, but come on. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, though.
No, I don't, because the whole Mike Burns ran on a whole slate, and I think he and one other person won.
Right. So they didn't run. They didn't either. They weren't good. I wasn't here then. You were, but they weren't.
The reason why
for some reason they didn't win. But let's say she got people to win. Let's say she found people. And
she's not going to get people to win because you vote individually on each person.
But you could certainly spend.
You don't go into the booth and select that slate.
I understand that, but don't they then? But it says next to their name Lake Forest Caucus. Now, what it said next to her name Independent. But let's say they all filed as independent. She could then put out a flyer, or somebody L4T can't campaign, but somebody could have put out a flyer saying, "Vote for all the independent candidates: Prue Beidler, Jane Doe in Ward 1, John Doe in Ward 2. I mean, just they could have done that.
But by using that example, Joe, that means they have to get a whole ton of people to run. And what's the caucus's biggest issue right now? Finding volunteers. Really? You think? I mean, yeah,
but when you have a meeting,
never going to happen. It's happened
when they did their meeting at Gorton. They got a bunch of people to show up, so they found maybe 6 or 7 people in that group.
Right.
It's happened in other towns. Now, thankfully, it hasn't happened.
We're not other towns.
I get that.
Skoo,
But
you talk too much about politics. What about some of the new
I didn't
restaurants?
come on to talk about politics.
Yeah, well,
talk
I
about
just
like
stepped into the
something
I
that
stepped into
happened
the bar to
25
have a
years
beer.
ago.
you keep doing it. So how about these new businesses in town? What do you think? Sophia's is pretty nice.
Love Sophia's.
Uh,
Go
the uh,
there, sit out on the
the homeless
patio.
coffee shop. Has
The what?
Jesus been the homeless?
Hometown? Love hometown.
Anybody seen Jesus around? I saw him walking down the street. You know, I'm talking
Yeah,
the tent guy.
he's a different character.
Hey,
To
well,
each his own, right?
that's right. That's right. And then the bagel place, I've heard so-so reviews on the bagel place. Haven't been in, but
Oh, Once Upon a Bagel?
yeah.
Tremendous.
Oh,
That's what I've
Tremendous.
heard. I can't eat bagels, but yeah, there's good. I've heard good stuff from people who can.
no,
Joe,
but no.
you can't eat anything. Why are you the restaurant review guy on this show?
I can eat steak. I'll eat Sophia's steak any night of the week. It's just anything with carbohydrates.
What about Lake Colonial there, Skoo?
Haven't been there
Ever?
ever, and probably won't. No offense to it all, but
No offense, but it's very expensive Chinese food. Just saying.
that's Vietnamese. I thought
It's a chain. It's a chain. There's one in Naples, Florida.
There's one in the
That's
city
great.
there. Joe forgot his last name, but he's
Are we
got.
live? People keep waving.
Hey, tell him to slow down. They still speeding on your street on Oakwood there?
Yes.
So when you always did the podcast and there was that window frame behind you, that's your house, right?
No, that's just a backdrop from Google
No.
that I put in there.
No,
Yes,
I thought it, but people thought, is that his office? Is he doing the show from his office?
it is my office.
What is your office? Okay.
Part of my office. This is the global headquarters.
Underneath the lantern.
Oh, the lantern's on top of me.
Skoo, let's wind up on.
Oh, come on. Who's your
All
guest?
right, we'll keep going.
I'm-
You're
I'm not
busy
your guest.
guy.
Who do you
You're-
got on
He
board?
had the guest earlier, Levi Kane. You wouldn't have sat through that.
Levi Kane. Nice.
He is the
What's he do?
Shakespeare of Highland Park. There is a football player at Lake Forest High School that never made it to the Ring of Honor. Do you know what I'm talking about, Skoo? He is the
The
girls.
Ring of Honor. There's no Ring of Honor at the high school.
Semantics.
I never made it.
Lake Forest, okay. But
You
he
mean
played
the Wall of
football-
Fame?
Wall of Fame, but he was he's the ladies travel lacrosse coach. You know what I'm talking about?
The
Please.
Bandits?
Yeah.
That's exactly who you're talking about.
What am I talking about? It's
He's
been
the
years.
only guy at Lake Forest. There's only been Joe, you name it, because you're the scout guy. Who are the 5 guys that were ever first team all state at Lake Forest High School? I'm not talking News Sun. I'm talking the original all state team.
Ara Goshgarian. He was a fullback.
No, Ara wasn't
He was a running back.
Ara was a water boy.
He's in the
You're thinking of
newspapers.
Ara Parseghian at
No,
Northwestern.
Ara Goshgarian was a running back for the Scouts. Yes, he was.
Was he?
Yeah.
He's a fullback. It wasn't a running back.
Well, I said fullback.
Triple option. The fullback does
He's
nothing.
a big dude, so
You know who the quarterback was?
I do.
Turkla.
Turkla was quarterback well before that. He was not first team all state.
All right,
Did he
continue.
have concussions?
We digress.
I'm waiting. The 5. John Lazzaretto is the only one that was first team all state, never to be on the Wall of Fame, and we're trying to get him on there.
Who
It's only
decides
5.
this?
5 football players ever at Lake Forest to be first team all state.
Who decides who's on this wall of fame?
The coach submits to whoever, and I think there's a whole process now, but yeah, he should be retroactively put on there. His feats are still, I think he still holds some of the track records at the high school, state records.
So should we start a campaign to get him on here? A Lake Forest podcast campaign?
We did already. This is our second attempt. for
Yeah, he
homecoming,
should
I
be
think
on
that would
there.
be
He's done great things for the community with the bandits, and
bandits, yeah.
that's a shame he's not on it, but he will be
No, we got to get him back
eventually.
on. We got to get him back on. And I think for like homecoming or something like that, when you have all those kids up there, you should have one alumnus up there to just throwing it out there.
Alumnus for what?
For that Wall of Fame, like for
Oh, there's alumni on the Wall of Fame. There's a bunch of Wall of Fames now.
I'm talking about with the lights when you're watching the game and you look to.
You mean the thing on the wall?
Yeah.
The wall. I don't forget what they call it. Yeah, they put new kids, but they're kids from years past, prior year.
Okay.
The wall's pretty cool. That is a
There's
really
a whole new set of kids coming on this week, I think.
it's a really neat thing that they do with the wall.
Then Skoo, do you still eat the not so sloppy Joes?
I always hated that sandwich when I was
Past
going
Waysies or left
Left
bank.
bank.
left bank.
Those are tasty.
Just maybe they'll
I'll
serve
eat the-
over at the beach.
I'll go there and get the meat, but then I throw away the bread.
Duly noted. When you
You and I are the only White Sox fans in the city of Lake Forest. What the hell is happening with the White Sox?
We're not the only one. Well,
Oh, there are like two or three other brave souls here.
The worst baseball team ever to be assembled in professional baseball.
They're going to beat the 62 Mets record, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, that's not much of a record. That's
I know, but it's just so
records are achievements. Achievements
Yes,
are
sir.
something you make.
fair enough. But
the last few seconds of the podcast when we talk about the White Sox.
Sucking is not an achievement.
Skoo, what about the beach and that walkway? You think we'll get it done by the end of the year? I've been over the beach a couple times. I haven't seen anything yet.
Well, I saw someone, I think someone was walking. I think they thought it was done because they all of a sudden walked and fell down the hill.
oh no.
I'm
Skoo,
kidding.
I know you just
Get me
deadpan.
nervous there. We need the orthopedic surgeon mayor to take care of him.
Skoo Walker, 30 years. How does the team look this year?
Yeah.
They got some good kids coming back, good skill positions. They should be pretty good. It's a lacrosse hat, Joe.
Is it?
Yeah.
How do you know? It just says Scouts. I think we bought it at Kittles.
They should be pretty good. They got a lot of home games. So, and then they dropped down to the for the playoffs. So, I mean, they should be pretty good. They got, like I said, skill positions, quarterback and wide receiver and running back. So they should be good offensively. The defense is pretty stellar. So they should have a good year. All depends on, how the conference is because they have to face bigger teams.
Yeah.
Do you follow
Bigger
the whole
volume
conference,
team.
or you just worry about the Scouts, or
Huh?
is it John Kerr like writes all these things about the Scouts and all this stuff? Do you follow all that stuff? And
No.
Libertyville's the team to beat.
No. Libertyville,
Warren.
they suck.
Warren's the team to beat usually, right?
Huh?
Warren is usually the team to beat in that conference.
Usually, I
They
mean,
have 10,000 kids.
Christ, they got 10,000 people, so they're 18 deep in every position. They should be good. I think Lake Forest beats on them quite a bit. Libertyville's always pretty good. I think they're gonna. I don't know. They were pretty good last year. I don't know. Hey,
When's the
listen, I used to pay attention to the other teams, but it's all about the Scouts.
When's the home opener, Skoo?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Come on, Pete. It's Friday night.
Is
Yeah,
it
where you-
really? Way to let me
guys
set
are
the
spending
table
too
for you,
much time
Skoo.
outside of Lake
you
Forest.
come with
before
us
you
to
get
the game,
into
Pete.
Lake Forest.
You come to the
Friday
game with us.
Joe, you wear that hat, you should know that.
It's
I
Friday.
do. I did know it. I was just letting you tell them.
Friday. What time?
It's
Friday, I think the freshmen are at 5, and then the varsity is at 7 or 7:30.
so you call the freshman
too
game,
old.
right?
Huh?
You announced the freshman game too, right?
Well, the freshmen are just playing. It's usually the JV, but I think the freshmen are playing this year. At least that's
JV
what I was told.
So
JV's
you're
on
calling
Saturday.
from 5 to like what 9 o'clock at night.
Well, it depends, depends if it rains and if the field doesn't blow up like it. You didn't ask me about the turf at the high school and all that.
I was going to ask that.
Funny, stuff that's happened to me in these years.
What do you think of the turf over there?
At the high school?
Yeah.
It's been there for a long time.
I know, but what did they have? Did they have it when, well, you didn't play football, but how long did they have it?
Joe, I'll give you a little background. The high school used to play at Lindenmeyer Field at East Campus on that weird looking field that's not used, that has a track around it.
I remember, because we were in your conference back then, Niles North, and we played you guys.
You were at Niles North? Jeez. You guys didn't even really have sports teams then.
Back then, no, we didn't, but now they do. Niles North has become because of
Niles North we used to play Niles North. We used to play like the C team against Niles North because it was.
Hey, but we had a guy that was Brent Novoselsky, who was a senior when I was a freshman. Later played for the Bears and the Vikings and the Packers, I believe. Good guy.
Oh my. So anyway, back to Lindenmeyer Field used to be before the turf field was built. That was the greatest field. And Pete, you can appreciate this. Playing on the guy that used to maintain that field, Ed Plucker, I'm telling you, that field was lush and plush for every game. Whether it was pouring rain or not, I'm telling you, you were not allowed to step foot on that field during the week. And from my football days, which were limited, but just from that field you walk on it, Pete, it was like falling on a Certipedic, whatever they call them, pillow, mattresses. It was so soft. I mean, you could not get hurt on that field. But that was, they had the first light game there. They hauled in lights from out of town, and it was awesome.
When did they switch to the West Campus playing?
Oh, God. What was it? I think, when was the last referendum that they built everything?
Early 2000, I thought.
20 years ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that was, it's too bad, too, because they could still play there. They could still put, stands in and, and they proved during the first lights that, there's another thing. The neighborhood went absolutely haywire when they were going to bring in lights for a game.
Just like Wrigley Field.
The world's coming to an end. You're bringing lights in, and they were low-level lights, and it was the best experience. The neighbors loved it. It was like a festival. It was awesome. And,
So what do you think about the turf field?
Some former person there decided that, we need to build a facility out at West Campus and all that, which it's turned out great. But boy, there's nothing like playing within a neighborhood on grass on a Saturday afternoon. Leaves blowing in the background, burning leaves from neighbors, hot dogs grilling. You know what I'm saying, Pete? You get out there, you're going to grind it out.
As long as those parents don't set any more fires back there.
Well, you don't want to set a fire near a turf field with Melanie Rummel.
There was one 3-4 years ago.
But it wasn't a fire.
Burning will emit terrible things into the environment.
Fire truck came up. It's a fire. I'm just saying.
Probably 10 years ago or so, there was a huge rainstorm. And the game was halted for lightning, and we're waiting. And all of a sudden, 50-yard line started rising. And apparently there was a hole somewhere, and air got underneath the turf, and it just started ballooning up. Had to pop it to get the air out, and then they had to suspend the game. But never seen turf like that happen before. It was and the funny thing is, no one brought that up in the arguments against turf. But
what do you think about the turf over by Deerpath?
I think it's great. Hopefully they use it other than normal rec programming, because there's a lot of money that has to be.
Well, I hear that they deliberately underscheduled the first year because they wanted to see how it goes, and now they'll schedule more. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Who
You have a new Parks and Rec you have a new Parks and Rec director now from Gurney.
Who's telling you that?
What? Somebody at the Lantern.
Obviously not a person in the know.
But you got a new Parks and Rec director, and a lot of people ask, do we need a new Parks and Rec building? Instead of the one we got now? What do you think of it?
Need a new facility. Time for change.
It is a little dated, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe, and I know, and I can tell you every nook and cranny of those walls and floors because I used to scrub them all. No joke. Yes, it needs to be redone. It's run out its useful life, I think. But
Skoo, last question. Your thoughts on tournaments? You think we should have tournaments once we get the okay on that field, bring in people from out of town so we spend money in Lake Forest?
I don't know if we need to get an okay. I mean, I thought the okay that's one of the reasons why turf was built. But yeah, absolutely, we should be doing tournaments there.
Well, okay, because
you go to the field and this summer and there's nothing happening there. It's an opportune time to have tournaments. We should be having tournaments there and showcasing the city as well as the fields.
What about the
easily done?
What about the problems with traffic?
What? Pete, come on. There's no problems with traffic in tournaments. Oh, wait, those tournaments being held during school? There's no
only when Deerpath lets it in out is there traffic problem.
There's not when you have tournaments. There's not traffic. The whole parking lot's available. Listen, I played when there's tournaments there, and there's no traffic issues, and there's no anything. There's great, well done, and they should be right now. They should be scheduling tournaments for next year. 100%. They should have been doing it last year for this year. So your source, Joe, is a little.
Skoo,
if your source said that, Joe, in the arguments for the turf never would have been built.
I have missed this sharp wit so much and this friendly.
Joe's getting a little frustrated. He's like, he's got that look on. It's like I'm Joe Severino or something, and he wants to.
Oh God, no! You couldn't be as bad as that clown. That I won't say what I really think of him here. But,
he's a friend of mine, Joe.
Sorry. Does he owe you any money? Because he owes a bunch of other people money.
Oh, come on! Is that a fact?
Go look at it. Go look at his. Go look at the mortgage on his house.
Skoo Walker. 30 years. Congratulations, my friend. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you.
Can we have you come back? And please.
It's fun for 30 years or whatever it has been. It's you don't know it's that long until someone says, you've been doing that for what? So.
Did you turn in your timesheet?
No, and whoever told you that I mean, I get that messed up. I don't work enough. I forget to do that stuff.
Yeah, okay. All right, Joe.
I'll see you Friday night, Skoo. Go
Scouts. Bye.
Wait, Pete.
What?
Wait. All right, we'll see you later.
The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.